Welcome back. Today is a day for getting unstuck. If you're a coach that is plateaued right now, you feel like your potential is over here, like really, you're made for more than you're doing right now. You feel like you could be changing lives. You feel like your message is so powerful, but yet when you look in your bank account, you're like, what's going on? You feel like you need to be working with, what do they call it? You feel like you need to be working with powerhouses, but who you're attracting is not really that. You feel like you're wasted potential, if that makes sense. Today is a day for that. You're stuck, you're plateaued, you have your gifts and abilities, but when you look at your business, there's nothing like that. It's almost like you're missing a puzzle. And it doesn't matter who you hire, that puzzle doesn't seem to come to your table. You've hired this person, this person, this person, this person, and you still feel like something is missing. Good news. Today we have the missing piece. Today I have Yvonne with me in the studios. And Yvonne has, for a very long time, studied this. How do you get unstuck? How do you get out of the plateau? How do you get out of that place where you feel like you're not shifting, where you feel like you're living beneath your potential, literally? How do you do that? That's the question that we're answering today. That's the question we're answering. I don't know if I've done a good job, so let's hear what Yvonne has to say. Yvonne, welcome to the show. I'm excited to have you.
Hi, Prima. Thank you very much for invitation. I'm so happy to be here. I'm really excited today to talk about this topic. I'm really living, breathing this topic, and my greatest pleasure is to help other coaches, other female leaders who have huge visions to really get to where they want to be. I've really made it my mission in life to help them get unstuck, help them see their inner goddess and live it to the fullest extent.
I love that. Before I started this podcast, I used to tell people, there is an Oprah in me. I need someone to extract it. And people would laugh. And I would keep saying that. There's an Oprah in me. I don't know why I'm operating below my potential. And since I started this podcast, I've really felt like I've stepped into the version of me that is here now and ready to roll out. And so I really understand that place of feeling like, I don't know what your Oprah levels are, but like you feel like there's an Oprah in you and you don't seem to extract that Oprah out, or you don't seem to know how to get that Oprah in the world. You feel like you're the next big thing, but when you look at what you're doing, you don't see how that's coming to life. So this is the conversation. Yvonne, what is it that I left out when I was bringing you up that you feel is so important before we dive in?
Well, I've studied personal development for the last 14, almost 15 years now. And I made a lot of certificates. And one of those certificates is my hypnotist certificate. So it was my earliest calling that I've got in the energetic industry to go and apply hypnosis. So by the time I thought I had to apply it on myself, but boy, was I wrong. Actually, the calling was to learn it and to help other people to release their resistance to any sort of success, to any sort of being authentic and living their best life through hypnosis. And once I understood that, which was just 2 or 3 years ago, I felt a sudden change in my whole life. And all my clients felt that shift too. And everything that came after was simply amazing.
I love it. What can the listener expect from this conversation?
Some new perspectives on how to view their inner world, and also probably a new way of, I don't like the word fixing, but in some way it is to fix what what the future will bring to them. Yeah, and to unlock the full potential that they feel that is like a volcano brewing inside of them, but never really getting out. Yeah, it's almost like you have a Ferrari and you want to be fast, but you have the handbrakes pulled, and you step on the gas, but the handbrake is pulled. And you feel that you want to go and it doesn't work, So
I love that. I love that.
And
you feel like
by the way,
a Ferrari, but right now you feel like you're driving a Toyota. But what you paid for, what you're made of substance. You're made of a Ferrari, but right now you feel like really a Toyota. And I love Toyota, like don't get me wrong, but you feel like a bicycle. But you know that the thread or the DNA that you're made of is a Ferrari. I really love that the way you've said that. Wow.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm a car enthusiast, so I love to talk about cars. I love fast cars, so I myself am a fast car, so I'm a Ferrari turbo, I think.
Okay,
and that's also what my clients experience when working with me. Yeah, because literally in the first, second session that we have together, they will immediately find a shift in their whole life, in their being, in their energy, in everything surrounding them. Yeah, because for me, hypnosis is a kind of a shortcut to success.
Wow.
Because hypnosis works in a part of yourself where you cannot go by any other means. You can always only be on the surface. Yeah, and with hypnosis, you can go really, really deeply into your subconscious mind and clean it out and have it fixed.
Let me see if I understand. The work you do is this. When we were born, we were all probably born like Ferraris, literally, like we were born strong, everything was possible, and we were to change the world, literally. And then as we grew, we began to get programmed by our parents, by our teachers, by the neighbor, by the maid, who knows who was involved in that. So our subconscious started to get confused and started to get weeds planted in it. Life happened, things happened, and our identity all that Ferrari began to put on brakes and brakes and brakes and brakes. And right now, that might be manifesting as a stagnation in business. But we do not know that the subconscious mind has a ceiling or the weeds are too many because it doesn't, our active mind doesn't know what is in the subconscious. It's like auto, it's like a program which is running, but you don't see the program. It's like when you're driving a car and your dashboard is full of alarms. You're not in the engine, but you can see the alarms. And so this stagnation in business, in life, really is an alarm. And if you look around, your marriage might be facing the same thing. And generally, it might be like a life plateau if you look around. Your health may be taking another curve. And so what really Yvonne is saying, in my opinion, is we have some weeds to pull out so that you can go back to the state of having your Ferrari that is fully functional and serving you like a Ferrari, not a small bicycle or not a small Toyota. Is that like close to the message or?
Absolutely close. And you have to also to understand one thing. From the day you were received until your 18th birthday, you get about 270,000 limiting beliefs.
Wow.
Yeah, because for example, as a baby, you cry in a certain way and you know already that your mother or your father or your grandmother or whoever is taking care of you will respond in a certain way to this cry. So you learn from an early stage on to behave and act and think in a certain way that either pleases other people or makes them react in any way. And then we learn and learn and learn. And on top, we learn in the school that we have to sit still and we have to be a nice child. And girls especially have to be even nicer than boys and calmer and more elegant and don't run that fast, don't be so loud. So we learn all those programs. And this is when we get stuck, because all of a sudden we are like 30, 35. We should do our thing. We should be online. We should be on social media. We should start to promote our business, because without opening our mouth and talking about ourselves, we won't attract the clients that we want. So we won't make the money that we would love to see in our bank accounts. But then there is this nice sentence that somehow got stuck in our subconscious, which says, don't speak too good about yourself. This is bragging. You are not allowed to brag about yourself. This is bad behavior. One doesn't do that. And all of a sudden you think 2 or 3 times if you should report about your wins on social media. Because maybe there are your best friends, and maybe there is your grand aunt and your father or your mother or your grandparents. And what would they say if they hear you bragging on social media about how good you are? And that might not even be a conscious programming, but just a subconscious program running in your head. And that's what kicks a lot of women, especially women, into procrastination mode. And that's what lets female entrepreneurs with a huge vision get stuck.
I like it.
And the more they get stuck, the less their opinion about themselves becomes, and the less self-worth, self-respect, self-love they can show. So the spiral is going downwards from there, you know. And the earlier on we resolve all this resistance, all those beliefs that we are experiencing, the earlier we can start to live our best lives ever.
I like that. I used to have clients who literally, before I understood this energy work, like I used to have clients who literally, they would come, they would pay, and for a month, they wouldn't make a post. And I would be frustrated, like, why are you not making a post? And I would sit with them and go, okay, let's begin with sharing your story. And I'd create for them a nice masterpiece, master story. This is what qualifies you. Like I would think maybe they don't feel qualified. So this is your master story. This is what qualifies you. This is how you can help people, and let's go change lives. And 1 month later, they would be like, yeah, I don't feel ready yet. And I was like, wow. I would get to clients on the phone and would agree, you're going to put out an offer. This is it. This is the format. We create the thing together. Please go post it. A week later, they wouldn't post the thing. Okay. People would get on the phone. They want to buy the thing, and she couldn't say the price. And I'm like, what's going on? And I really never understood how having this subconscious feeling that you're not either worthy or good enough can really stop people from doing it. Because I would have people who would be like, I want to work with that person. Like people would come to me and tell me your best student in this area. And I would say, go and work with Yvonne. Like, she's amazing. She'll change your life. And I would say, this is Yvonne's link. Please book a call. And I would have sold the person. Like the person would be like, oh my God, I can't wait to get started. I'm so excited. They would reach Yvonne's calendar, get on the phone, and somehow she would then sell the person. And I'd be like, holy moly, what's going on? And I would say, Yvonne, what happened? Like, yeah, I don't think she has the money. And I'm like, really? By the time she left me, she had the money. She was ready to start. Now somehow you think she's so poor that she can't pay. And I'm like, oh, she has problems that are bigger than the problem she's. I'm like, no. I got so confused until I understood this energy work. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. And so if you are listening, and one, you can't send a message because, I don't know, you don't want to be pushing. You can't ask for the sale because you think, oh, poor them, they've suffered so much, now I'm going to take the money. Or you even can't post what you want to post because, what if they don't like it? What if they think of this? Like, if you're consumed with other people think of you, or you're really like, you don't know why you're not getting people to pay you, chances are, without knowing it, you're literally getting in the way of people paying you. Or you're talking yourself out of the cell, or you're doing all of the things unconsciously that are sabotaging you from going where you're going. So today we're going to dive in. I'm going to give you like actionable framework that you can use to start seeing some level of progress, or to even start going, oh my God, I can't believe that was me. But before we get too far, Yvonne, I want you to take us to a point where you had it all, like you were like, okay, this is rock bottom. I've had it. I am going to have to change this. Like, take us your story and take us there at that place of missing a puzzle and how you came around to this place where you are today.
Actually, I had a lot of rock bottoms because it was very late in my personal development path that I really discovered the power of the self-image. And once I understood the power of the self-image and how important it is to operate from my desired self-image, I think I had 2 burnouts. I was broke, I think 2 or 3 times. So I was always like fighting for money, fighting for love, fighting for clients, fighting for my life, actually, you know. So I really, really know what it means to step on the gas and all of a sudden hit the brakes and be even further down again. But the most important thing for me was to always allow myself to keep on envisioning my success somehow. Also, if I wasn't using the right energy or if I wasn't using it the right way, I was always like, I know. I really was a huge believer in I can do it. One day I will be at the point that I want to be. And it all changed for me 2 years ago. So really, really changed for me when I found out about the self-image thingy. Because before I was like trapped in this online coaching bubble where everybody tells you you just have to have high energy and you just need to be positive to attract anything that you want. Sorry for my French, that's BS. Because if you look around in the world, the people with the worst energy and the baddest mood and who are criminals, etc., have the millions and the billions. So it's not about your mood. It's not about this fairy tale of the mood and of your energy. Yes, of course, if you have a nicer energy, you will attract a nicer surrounding, but it doesn't necessarily and automatically mean that just because you're nice and you're in a happy place and that you are a positive thinker, that you will attract the money that you want to see on your bank account. That's a myth. That's a myth. Because one of my, I attracted the most money when I was in my saddest days, but still I had this self-image of the CEO diva who runs an empire, who really is the biggest woman out there, transforming lives, helping other female leaders to get to the vision fulfilled in their life. And so it is really about the self-image. And then you can concentrate on other things, because if you start to operate from your new self-image, then you will also suddenly become aware of the things that did not work for you so far. And then you're able to put the spotlight on that and start changing it. And then if you have the right method to change it, success can come very quickly for you. And that's what we want. And we also want the lasting effect. Because what I found with other energetic tools that I also really highly value is that they never lasted really long. So, I mean, their effects never really lasted very long, because they did not do one thing. And this one thing is to reprogram your mindset, your subconscious. There was always, the most energetic tools are something that you apply in your other world. Even if people tell you this will change your inner world, it can't, because it's not talking to your subconscious. No matter how often you replay an affirmation or repeat an affirmation, at a certain point in your life, your conscious mind will say, wait a minute, she repeated the sentence now for the umpteenth time, and I still didn't see it realize in front of me, materialize in front of me. What the heck is she telling me? Yeah. So it's also about a speedy transformation. And this is what you get with hypnosis and all the bits and pieces that I put around my hypnosis sessions. Yeah. Because success loves speed. Because the faster you see success coming into your life, the faster you really, really, really believe. And I mean believe with an F, not with a V. You really believe that your success is here and that you can repeat it time and time and time again. And that's what makes successful people successful, speed as well.
I love that. I love that. I like to say the same thing, but I say money loves speed.
As well, money loves speed, absolutely. And money loves to be in your bank account like billions just right now, you know? Because money is a tool. It's just a tool that wants to serve you. It's a spiritual tool. And if you believe that you are allowed to have as much money as you want to have, yeah, then it will show up. But you have to believe.
I really like this. Take me back to self-image. And I would like for you to expound on that so that we can see what image we are holding, because some of us don't even know what image we are holding because it's in the subconscious. But maybe you can help us kind of go, oh my God, I can't believe that. Give us like an idea of the different self-image concepts that people hold. They don't even know that they do. And how we can begin to realize that there is something there that we need to check.
The thing is, if you look around yourself, you immediately recognize what kind of self-image you have about yourself. Are you living in the big mansion, or are you living in the straw hut while dreaming of a better life? Do you have a lot of friends, or do you wish to have a lot of friends? Do you wish to have a large bank account with 6 figures on it, or do you have just 10 euros sitting in your bank account anymore? You know what I mean? So the thing is, your outer world immediately shows you where you are inside of yourself. This is how you recognize what self-image you hold. And this self-image is imprinted by everything since the day we were received. Because if you saw your parents suffering and struggling with money, you most likely would have adapted their patterns and their belief system. So just look around yourself, and then you know what image you hold of yourself. And as for the new self-image that you want to have, dream extremely big. Where do you want to go where other people would say, she's crazy, she never can do that? And if you hit that sweet spot, make it even bigger. And then you know how big your self-image has to be that you can reach it.
If no one thinks you're crazy, you haven't hit the spot.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like that.
Yes, that's the truth. That's the truth. Just go around outside and ask people if they would believe that you could make 7 figures in 4 months. They would say you were crazy.
I get it. Like if no one close to you is saying you're ridiculous, you're like, if people around you are not like, you out of your mind, then you're still playing too small and your self-image is like very limited. I would like to take this conversation to a place where we kind of get the steps that need to happen for us to get out of our own way and expand, for us to get to that missing puzzle. Give me, like, I know you've created thought leadership around that. So like, what is the journey from plateaued to expanded and unstoppable?
The first step is to make a decision that you want that right now, no matter what hits you. That's the most important thing, because then the universe receives a signal from your subconscious and from every fiber in your body and mind that vibrates. She is determined. She is determined, and she really wants to make a difference in this world. And when you operate from that kind of belief and certainty, then who should be stopping you then, other than yourself and your self-doubts, which will come, of course, because everybody, and I mean really everybody on this planet, has self-doubt, no matter if she's called Oprah Winfrey or Sarah Blakely or Jennifer Lopez. Everybody has a self-doubt. And every next step you make, you will have a self-doubt that tells you, darling, you can't do that. Are you sure? Are you really sure? Yes. Hell yes. And be okay with doubting yourself sometimes. Just don't go back into the trap and say, nah, I can't do that. I'll wait for tomorrow, like you described before. Yeah, maybe next Sunday. I need this Sunday to relax and to go to church or to go with my dogs into the mountains or whatever. Yeah. That's the thing.
So decide. Step 1, decide. Yes. Is that like step 2, 3, 4, 5, or like?
There are a lot of steps. There are a lot of steps, but to make the decision to start the transformation process is the most important and the most powerful. And if you can hold this vibration, then you can go as far as God allows, and God is always yourself.
So if someone is listening in right now and they've tried a lot of things, they have the desire, they want the money, they've done everything, they've manifested, they've affirmed, I don't know what else people are doing, and it's still not coming. How can we help them kind of see how you see things differently, or how you see the pieces of the puzzle that they go, oh my God, that's why I haven't done it? if they've dabbed here and there and they're like, nothing seems to work.
Yeah. I've once heard a very nice metaphor. Or even you can say, if people are getting antsy about why didn't this thing come already? Why didn't I see this manifestation? Then they will focus always on the negative and what is not here right now. So where you have your focus, your energy goes. So if you always think in a scarcity mindset and say, I did this manifestation and it's not coming, where is it? Then you're putting a lot of pressure on that. And you focus on that it is not here. So the universe says, okay, she wants more of not having. Okay, I can give her more of not having. Because you have your focus on that energetically. And that's why it is so important to have and hold the new self-image that you really want to experience, no matter what's going on around you. Because everything that's going on around you is just a distraction from what you really can achieve. What's going on around you is just what you manifested over the last decades. And when you all of a sudden decide that this stops here and now, then you have to train your mind, your subconscious, which is like muscle training, to do things differently and to think things differently. And if you don't train that, your brain, your subconscious will automatically fall back into old habits, old thinking, old patterns.
Okay, let me see if I understand. You're where you are because of the programs that are running in your head, or the conditioning, or the whatever the subconscious is holding is manifested in what is happening right now. So your bank account is a reflection of what's happening behind the scenes. Your marriage is a reflection of what's happening behind the scenes. The clients you're attracting is a reflection of what's happening behind the scenes. So if you don't like that, it's for placing your foot down in the sand and drawing a line and saying, this stops right now, right here. And once you get that command and give it to your brain, the subconscious mind knows what to do with it. If you're dead serious about changing the situation, what I'm picking is the universe will start giving you the ways. Maybe being on this podcast is one of those ways. The subconscious is like, you're tired, you've had it, you're now ready for the next thing. And maybe that is why you're on this podcast. I get that, Yvonne. The part I don't get is at what step is the hypnosis? Like, if someone didn't even know what hypnosis is, or if like people talk about healing and they talk about reprogramming and talk about Reiki and they talk about hypnosis, like if someone didn't even know at what part the hypnosis is coming, how can you kind of take us through those steps? I know that vision is one of them. So like, what's the image or the self-image or the person you're trying to create? I also think that where you are is a place. So like, where are you? Where are you going? And I think there is all this space in the middle that we don't know what to do with. I don't know if you can help us. I know I want to be here. I know I'm here. And now I'm being told that whatever is happening here is what is happening in the space here. And all I'm thinking right now is that now the hypnosis is probably going to close the gap, or are there other things I'm missing there? Like, how do I move from here to there? Like, I want to kind of see that I'm moving like as if steps.
Yeah, the hypnosis helps you shatter all the resistance that caused you to still stay stuck under the plateau. So the way I work with my clients is I really, in my 12 weeks program, I really take a deep dive into their lives, into their visions, into their programmings, and I'm a clairaudient. So I hear things that they don't tell me. And this is the part that helps me to put the right programming into our hypnosis sessions, to free them from the resistance and to replace the new programs in their subconscious mind. Because I can really spot their blind spots and where they have the misconceptions and the resistance. And this is what helps me to find the right words for my hypnosis sessions that I give them to reprogram their subconscious mind, which will help them have the desired outcomes and see the desired changes. And also the self-image. I can reprogram their subconscious mind with the self-image that they desire to have. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm going to read for you what I've written, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or somewhere in the middle, or I think I get it now. So, step 1, what do you want? What is the self-image that you want? Prima wanted an opera, and I think I'm still looking for the opera. But like, for me, I wanted the opera in me, the Prima that was just consumed in using her abilities and gifts to massively serve everybody else, or to massively and I believe that if everyone was healed and regulated, there would be less pain in the world. That's what I believe. And so I have always thought, how can I facilitate something that gives that to the world, where people are healed and regulated and in their truest self, so they can only do the things that they're aligned with. I feel like that would end suffering, almost like reduce suffering, reduce the wrong connections, the wrong relationships, the wrong things, and people would be happier. And so for me, I've always known that that's it. I wanted to be the person that did something that really ended suffering, literally. If people weren't broken, they wouldn't be in the wrong marriages. I believe that healing and being regulated will serve a lot of people. And so the first thing is what's the image? What's your opera thing? What's your Ferrari? The second thing is, where are we right now in as far as the Ferrari is concerned? So the Ferrari is over here, but you can admit that you're right now on I don't know, Toyota third-hand car, whatever that is. Whereas you're like this new Ferrari, everything, and you're like, okay, right now I feel like an old Toyota something.
Yeah, but you have to stop feeling like an old Toyota. But you have to stop feeling like an old Toyota and start feeling like the Ferrari you want to be.
So now you want to start, but I don't think that that's an automatic or something in my goodwill. So what I'm seeing as the next step is finding the stories, the programs, the beliefs, the patterns, the behaviors, everything you're doing that is stopping you from getting to the Ferrari level. So there's a Ferrari level and there is here. And what we need to find out is, what are the stories? What are the programs? What are the beliefs? What are the patterns? What are the things that you're doing that are keeping you down here? And then the next step is, now that we know what is keeping you here, let's wipe it out. And when we wipe it out with the reprogramming and everything, all of the tools customized to the whatever the things are, then now it's time to plant the things which will help us get to the identity. I don't know if I'm getting it right, but I feel like we need new patterns, we need new habits, we need new programs, we need new stories to then now start moving, or do the leap to this person. What have I left out, or what have I included that is not supposed to be there?
The thing is, when you are still the Toyota and want to be the Ferrari, you have to ask yourself,
Mm.
How would the Ferrari behave?
Mm.
What would the Ferrari do if
Mm.
I step on the gas, if I shift into the next gear? So to break it down, to bring it back to ourselves,
Mm.
what would I do? How would I react if I were already who I want to be? How would
Mm.
I feel? How would I see things differently?
Mm.
What would I love to experience in my life? And that's where we need the shift as well, because it's not only to daydream about who we want to be, it's also
Mm.
to ask ourselves, what would my future self do? How would it react? Would it react the same in the same emotional way that I've
Mm.
always reacted? Or would it take 5 seconds and say, okay, this could be different. I could act different.
Mm. I like it. I feel like I just got an aha moment. So you get clear on the person, the Oprah in you, and then you sit in a place of saying, this Oprah is my coach right now. And literally you go, if Oprah was giving me advice, what would she say to do? If I was Oprah, what would I do in this situation? Would I sign this client? Would I write this post? Would I say this? What would this person do if I was there? It's more like you take yourself up maybe 10 years and you go, I am this person. And you go, what would I decide if I was there? What phone call would
Exactly.
I make? Who would I message? What would I do if I didn't have all these limitations that I seem to have? I like that. And literally
Yeah.
have your inner guru coach you, because your inner guru knows better about the image of the person that you want to be. I love that. What have we left out that is so key to this process? I feel like we got it. I feel like we nailed it.
I think we nailed it too. And the thing is that the inner guru is your soul. The inner guru is your soul that guides you. And if you start listening to your guide, to your inner guide, to your soul, and bring that into congruence with your feeling, with your thinking, with your acting, then you get results very, very fast.
I really like this. The way I look at it
Yeah.
is when we were born, we were so close to our inner wisdom, our inner guru, and then we began to grow, and we began to be shaped by different things, different advice, different things. Life happened to us, and then we kind of started to shift the focus to now outward. And now we started to listen to other people better, and listen to others, and then make decisions which then backfired because those were not our soul decisions. And at some point, we are now plateaued or stuck because we've taken so much external advice that we've lost the internal guru. And what this system that you does, which is customized to you, does, I really feel like it takes away all of the weeds and brings you to a place where you can literally give yourself the coaching that you're looking for. I feel like that's what it does. It takes away the weeds, the noise, the vacuum that has been created by other people's implants of us, and kind of takes you back to a place where your soul knows better and you're listening to it just like you did when you were like 3 or 2 or something.
Yeah, because see, the thing is that society does, and the school system does, and everything that we experience in our outer world is, it distracts you from listening and feeling to your inner self, to your soul. Because society and the world around you wants you to behave and think in a certain way. And some parts of your brain want to fulfill this wish because this part of the brain wants you to belong. It wants you to belong to a certain group of people, to a certain, have certain standards, etc., because when we go back into the prehistoric times and back into the caves, Not belonging to any group of people meant immediate death. Because you were not in a secure place. The lions could get to you, the mammoths could get to you, you have no fire, etc., etc. So it was of utmost importance to belong to a group. So you had to behave in a certain way. And that's what makes it super, super easy to make people do certain things, believe certain things, distract them on the outside from what the inside wants.
And the farther and farther away you get from your inner guru, the more stuck you get. I like to look at it as information. Like when I get angry, I think to myself, my body is telling me that I have maybe an unspoken value that somebody's stepping on. When I get anxious, and I really never do get anxious, but when I get anxious, it's my body saying, why are you living in the future? But I do get anxious, like just before like a stage, if I'm going to speak, I feel like nervous. And my body is saying, why are you trying to kind of live in the future? I feel like people who get depressed a lot, that is your body saying, why are you living in the past? I want you to live in the now, right here, where you are, which is why then when you do that, you feel present, you feel happy, you feel all the things. And so this feeling of stuck, I'm now thinking I'm going to add it to my set of messages. Being stuck or plateaued is your inner wisdom saying, no, stop the outward looking. It's time to look on the inside. I feel like it's a cry from your soul saying, no, I want you to stop looking on the outside and I want you to start coming back to me. That's how I'm getting it. Like a set of information. Your body saying, no, I'm going to get you stuck because right now you're really getting out of alignment with what.
And that's also your body is the first signal that you can have if something is wrong in your world. Because your body will immediately signal you with illness, with pain, that something is wrong, very wrong. And I mean, that may be very bold now, that statement, but I'm of the firm belief that it is like that. You can cure any sickness you have by resolving the resistance inside of your mind, inside of your subconscious, and reprogramming your belief system. Because a pain is nothing more than you holding a trauma.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you holding a trauma will be signaled by your body.
Let me ask then. So are you saying that every time people have a headache or whatever the thing they run to the doctor for, that is something that can be released by the mind? That is something in the mind that can be released? A fever, all of the things we take to the hospital, are you saying there is a way that it can be resolved by like releasing the energy or the aura or whatever that is?
Yes.
Wow, that's really, really interesting. Tell me about like generational suffering or pain and how that relates to what you just said.
For example, I take my mother. Yeah, my mother, she suffered from brain cancer and from breast cancer. And the form of breast cancer she had was, in hindsight, while analyzing all her life and all her history and everything that was going on, it was some trauma that she received in her forming years. that just showed up because I moved out and she couldn't take care of me like she wanted to do it. Yeah, so it's, and yeah, we find that in people, in indigenous people, they all know that. They all have this knowledge. This is how they can cure. And we don't need the pharma. We don't need it. We just were made believe that we need it. Because this is another form of controlling people and not letting them live their soul's purpose. I mean, this is now super far away from my hypnotic and from my neurohack system, but still, if you experience a lot of back pain, for example, in your lower back part, this is some existential crisis that you are in because you experience the need for more money and you don't get it. If you're suffering from a lung disease, this is also existential crisis, existential trauma. I was when I was a small child, I always had chronic bronchitis. Yeah, and that's due to the fact that I was born with the umbilical cord around my neck, which gave me the traumatic experience of almost dying already. As a very small baby. Yeah, so this is why I developed a lot of diseases when I was a small child. I was very clumsy. I broke almost every bone in my body, including my nose, several times.
Wow.
Because, yeah, so this is everything that we experience on the outside in our lives, in our outer world, is a programming of our subconscious mind. And if you experience a situation over and over again, in different intensities, it's also subconscious programming.
Wow. I was speaking to a client before we jumped on, and she said she had gone to see a friend, and it was like a young man of like 30 years or something, maybe, I don't know, 25 or something. And he had a problem where his muscles were giving way. And that's a problem that the mother had. So like the muscles just wear down to a point where you can't stand or support yourself. And this is like a 25-year-old, and now he's wheelchaired because the muscles just dissolve or something like that. Do you have any, how would you explain that? But also the mom had it, so I'm thinking it's in the line or in the lineage. How would you explain that?
He saw a pattern. He saw a pattern and it manifested in his brain, and now he is reliving all the things, and probably he had a trauma. I don't know the guy. Yeah, so I cannot really give you an explanation for that. Yeah, but I see this over and over and over again. I saw it in my family. I saw it in clients. I saw it over and over again. Yeah. Immobility, for example. I had a client, she had hip surgery, I think 2 or 3. And when we got into our deep dive session, I asked her, what happened around the time of your first hip surgery? And she said, my husband told me that I have to stay at home and do a certain thing because he was earning enough money and she did not have to do any more of the work that she was doing. So he literally told her to start being immobile and not following her need for being active and out there and living her dream.
Wow.
So she started to develop a hip thing instead of leaving the husband and saying, you know what, I will do my thing.
Wow.
And it got worse from there. So this is, and if you pay close attention to what people say, you will hear that.
Wow. Wow. What about me? I have had a back issue since I was like, what, I don't know, 20, 15. And it really like just comes and bugs me. And it's probably the only thing I have that is a problem. What would you explain that? Like, I've never like bothered to do like medical things because I'm like back pain. I probably sit too much and I probably need to stand up more. But how would you explain the back pain issue that I personally have?
I really would have to know more about you, and I would rather do that in a private session than on a podcast. But it depends on what happened, when happened, what was before, what was after, what was in between. So we really would have to, like I do with my clients, deep dive sessions to really get to the bottom of the thing. And then go from there and take away all the curtains and all the wrappings around your belief system and your behavioral patterns. It's not only one thing, it's the summary of all things going on in your life.
Makes sense. Is there anything we've left out that if we didn't talk about it, this conversation would be incomplete? Regarding
only that people can work with me. That's the only thing that we left out. People can come and work with me for 12 weeks. And they will have immediate shifts in the first 2 sessions.
Okay, so tell me more about that. Do you offer like one-on-one sessions, or is it a package or a program or coaching group? I don't know. Give me a little bit more into how it works.
I used to work one-on-one, but I saw that my clients had more effect when being in a group because they understood that they are not alone. And they felt more supported in a group. They felt, because if you start working with your subconscious mind and starting to shift your beliefs, all of a sudden the people around you won't understand you anymore. So it's crucial that while working on your subconscious and on your new self-image, you surround yourself with people that understand yourself and are going through the same process that you go through. So I decided to go for a group program, which is basically 12 weeks. And in this group program, every week we focus on a certain topic, on a certain technique, and incorporate hypnosis as well. So there will be immediate shifts, and we will establish a clear roadmap for the personal growth with specific goals and understanding of the journey ahead. And once they had the onboarding session, which we also have in the group, they will leave with a strong sense of community and alignment. Yeah, and a strong sense of, yeah, it's going to happen for me. So they will be very motivated. And this is one of the things that I noticed, that it's very important that people stay motivated and that they have fast successes to celebrate. They need quick wins. You need quick wins, because if something is dragging out too long, you lose interest. You doubt yourself.
I'm struggling to understand how the work is, because I feel like this is a sensitive topic. So my struggle right now is people are stuck because of different reasons, and most of it may be personal and private. And so I'm just wondering, is there part of the work that is like one-on-one and then group, or is it all group? Because at this point, I'm personally struggling with, group, okay, that's cool, but like, I don't know. I don't know if you see the question that I have there.
Yes,
is there
yes,
one-on-ones, or is it just group all over?
The first deep dive session that I talked about, This is a one-on-one session.
Oh, okay.
So this is for me to understand where the client has the issues. And since most difficulties have a common denominator throughout my client range, it is possible to work in the group. And part of growing and part of becoming the leader that you need to be in this world is to make yourself vulnerable and to open yourself up to other people. And when you know that you are in a group of people that are as vulnerable as you are and that are going through the same troubles that you are going through, then all of a sudden it's not so terrible anymore, because you know you're not alone, and because you know you have a support system that you can turn to, except from the coach. Because if you just have the coach like me, yes, I'm there. But imagine if 9 other people are there with you. You can turn to 9 more people if you feel that you want to have some more support or a different view.
I love community. Community is really big. I love community. I just do also love the bits that is private. So personally, I am more into some private stuff and then community, some private stuff and then community. So it makes a lot of
if
sense.
you prefer that, you can book my VIP upgrade. Then you get me in 3 personal private sessions throughout the journey.
Yeah. So this is the part where I explain what I want you to do. This podcast is a triangle. Bear with me. I'll be buying something like a wooden thing which you can see properly. There is 3 parties involved in this podcast. Yvonne is here and she has the gift of unstacking people and getting them from the plateau to where they want to go. So she's unlocking the Ferraris that are stuck in the Toyota. Prima is here, and Prima is really just a translator for the soul, just making sure that Yvonne's message does not get lost in the noise. And the most important piece of this podcast is the person who is listening right now. If you're listening, it means you've been chosen to be the vessel of the message. Like literally, that's what it means, because this is a spiritual podcast. And so what that means is that chances are there is a 1 degree separation between you and the person that needs this work. That could be you, but sometimes it's just a person that is close enough to you that this message has chosen to go through you, because the message chooses the person of least resistance. And so if you're listening, what this means is this message needs to reach someone and you have access to them, close access to them, but it can also be your message. So if it's your message, check the show notes for a link and grab a call, sit with Yvonne and kind of get to it. The time for searching, reading, researching, that's not the time now. The gifts are important and we need to move. But if this is not your message, then I want you to take a minute and scan around and go, who do I know in whose hands this can be life transformational? I don't know if I can say the word. We're looking for an entrepreneur. We're looking for coaches or entrepreneurs. We're looking for people that are built as a Ferrari, but they're right now trading as Toyotas, like an old Toyota, really. That's who we're looking for. You see this powerhouse, but what's happening in her business right now doesn't reflect the dream or the person that you know they can be. So who do you know that it has so much wasted potential right now? And what I want you to do is I want you to get the link from this podcast and I want you to drop it in the private space. Messenger, I don't know, WhatsApp, Telegram, I don't know where they are. SMS, whichever way you talk to them. And I want you to say this. I listened to this podcast and you came to mind. Give it a go. That's all you have to say. And this person will watch this and hopefully they will do what I want them to do, which is book a call with Yvonne and literally stop being that old Toyota that is trading right now for their brand. And if you're here because someone chose you, then you know the drill, my friend. If you're here because someone chose you, it means we are literally asking you to do a favor to somebody else. Look for somebody else who is also trading like a small Toyota and help them access this work so they can really activate the Ferrari, or at least grab it and get to use the full gears that it has. That is my call for every podcast I do here. And that is how you can help me move the message. Of course, the other stuff is like, follow, subscribe, comment. I honestly don't know what the platforms allow you to do. But if you do whatever the platform is asking you to do, what you're really doing in real sense is you have like you're calling an assembly. It's like you're blowing a whistle and you're saying, world, there is something here and I want you to be a part of it. So when you hit subscribe, for example, or you rate the podcast, or you comment, or you follow, you're telling the universe that there is something here in your frequency of vibration that needs to be grabbed. And so if I have each of you do that, we have enough whistles going around that this podcast will organically just stop the suffering that is in the world, and we wouldn't need anything else externally. Like we can do this. So that's my call for you. That's my call to action. Literally, that's how you can support this work. If you want me to keep doing this work, then I need to know that some lives are being transformed. And how do I know? By Yvonne messaging me and saying, I can't believe that I have 30 new people from your podcast and we had less than 100 views. I want to challenge the concept or idea of 1,000 views. And I want to say, how many clients did we get from this? How many lives did we truly change? Because views isn't equal to transformation. I'm happy if 10 people watch this lifetime and they all go to Yvonne and say, help me. Like, I'm just happy for that. And so that's what you can do for me. Yvonne, we're winding up, but I would wonder what you would like us to take away with. Like, what are your last parting words for us?
The last parting words for you is you have it in your hands to change your life whenever, wherever you are, with who you are at the moment, with what you have at the moment. You have it in your hands to make the change that you want to experience in your life. And it's easier than you think.
I love this. My last words are, if you're listening to this podcast, you're definitely made for more. You're made for this stuff. You are the Ferrari. We don't attract Toyotas here. You are a Ferrari if you're watching this podcast, whatever that means to you. So if you're listening to this and going, but no, like, you really can do this because you are built for this. Your DNA is built for this. Your threads are built for this. I'll tell you a small story before we close off. When I was born in Uganda. And in Uganda, mediocrity is celebrated, like literally, mediocrity is celebrated. Get born, go to school, get a degree, get a decent job, get a car, get a house, marry, get children, and you're celebrated. I didn't see that as success though. And so I knew that if I wanted a different life, I had to do something different. My dad was very good at helping with this. He had rules in the family. And one of them was, you either became a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer, or you had failed. And he really told us mediocrity is not accepted in this home. In fact, one day, my brother took him to his speech day. My brother had become third last of class. My dad comes back home and says, son, I gotta tell you that if this is your best in life, you need to look for your father, and that father is not me. That is not in my DNA. That mediocrity is not in my DNA. And so I wanted to be successful because I didn't want to lose my dad. So the biggest part of my life was just fear. And I remember I went to school, I became an engineer, like literally, because I had engineer, doctor, and lawyer. And I didn't like being a lawyer and I didn't like being a doctor, but I was like, engineer, okay, I'll do it. I became an engineer. I got a job, and I was really doing this for my dad. And it doesn't matter how big the organization was, because that organization was like $3 billion. Nothing excited me about it. I wasn't excited by promotions. I wasn't excited by anything. It was 6 years later, and I was literally in a job, practically checked out. And every day I came to work, I had headsets and I was listening to Tony Robbins and Oprah and Grant Cardone and everybody else. But I was in a job, literally checked out. I then realized that the fastest way to stay miserable was to stay in a job. And that is how I literally came online. I was in Uganda. Internet is a problem. Power is a problem. Everything is literally saying, don't go on the internet. I had an HP laptop and an Infinix phone where the internet couldn't even load. I came online and here I am today. Somehow, I always knew that I was built for something bigger. The threads have always been there. Like, I just knew the threads were always there. But when I listened to my dad saying you have to be this and this and this, I was like, I don't feel that, but I did it. Even when it didn't work out, like I just knew there was something more to my existence. And I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And that's how we are here. So I don't know what your situation is, but the threads are there. You're made of thick thread. The DNA is there. Allow yourself to take the help when you get it, because there is always someone that carries the how, but how? And Yvonne is one of those that is carrying the keys to your Ferrari. And I hope you grab the keys. Have an amazing one. Thank you so much for listening. And Yvonne, I want to celebrate you for today, for the amazing job. But more than just today, I want to celebrate you for all of the time that you spent in the wilderness where no one was watching or celebrating you, but you did the work anyway to just become the person you are today. So we want to celebrate you now, but also want to celebrate the struggle that no one saw. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very, very much for this opportunity. I was really excited because this was one of my manifestations. I love to be on a podcast. I love to speak about myself. I love to speak about what I can do in this world. And thank you so much. This was one of my biggest manifestations come true. And I'm here to be on many more podcasts and making my dreams and the dreams of my clients come true. Thank you so much.
Amen, amen. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great one. And thanks for hanging out today. Bye.